Good morning from Parque de Atracciones de Madrid. I would film a whole section on how to get here, but there's no need because that's the train tracks right there. Subway stops, train stops right there. Easy to get to. This is located in the heart of Madrid in one of their big public park areas. It's owned by the city of Madrid and operated as the flagship for Parque Reunidos, which is also, that company's based in Madrid. Let's head inside and check out this park. So this is one of two entrances to the park. As you can tell by the lack of fanfare, this is not the main entrance. So I'm going to cut over to the main entrance right now. Now this is more of a grand entrance into the park. I will say the one downside to entering from the train station is you do have to come up to the front. Just to the right of the front is guest services. That's where you can redeem your speedy passes. Now, they do have a couple levels. They have a family speedy pass, so if you just have kids and you just want to skip the kids lines, that's pretty cool. But we got the Speedy Pass Silver, which allows you to skip the lines of all the major rides once, but does not include some of the lower capacity coasters like the Wild Mouse. So for 10 euros, trying to hold all three, we got one for Vertigo, and what's the other one? Vertigo, Tarantula. So low capacity coasters, 10 euros more total. Get you those two. Not too bad at all. So now it's time to formally explore the park. Let's head inside. As soon as you walk in, there is a top spin. There's just rides everywhere here. Got the Maro Sorn coaster there. If you never say that name right, don't kill me in the comments. First coaster up is Tarantella, the spinning Wild Mouse. Again, this is one that's not on the Speedy Pass. So if you don't want to spend the extra 10 euros to skip the line, probably rope drop this or the other Wild Mouse. I do like this. Maybe a little hard to see there, a spider web on the ride. Just have to figure out how to enter. Ooh, I think it's pretty clear where the entrance is for this ride. This is pretty cool. I've never seen like an entrance sign cover an entire pathway like this. Pretty cool theme too. One-shot Speedy Pass. This line's already pretty long, so definitely glad we're using the one-shot Speedy Pass. Looks like you come up the exit in this case. That was really cool. It definitely feels a lot bigger than your average spinning mouse. It uses a train. There's a couple like trenches it goes through. Thumbs up from me. So I didn't know what to expect with this ride, but I really enjoyed it. It was like one of the highlights of the trip so far. That was actually, that flipping upside down, holding upside down, I thought was going to be a little too much, but it was really smooth and really cool. And then this airtime hill here, got a nice pop of airtime. Apologies for the sun, I can't, there it is. But really like that. It has the same restraints as Rip Ride Rocket or other Mauer Shonen coasters you've been on, which actually work really well for this kind of ride. I feel like it lets you have the freedom of the upper body to, put your hands up in the air, but it also holds you in nice and snug for that twisting first drop thing. Coming up around the corner here is something you don't see every day. It's Tornado. It is inverted Intamin coaster. You're like, I've seen those. No, this is a full circuit one. curving first drop vertical loop with like the most amount of supports I've ever seen for a vertical loop. Let's go check this out here. Curving first drop of the Intamin coaster. So that didn't impress me. It was okay. It's very drawn out. Like even the helix, I was waiting for like a B&M style of the helix at the end with a lot of forces, but really it wasn't. It's, like I said, drawn out, shuffles quite a bit. A SLC and a B&M are definitely a lot more intense. It's still cool to ride an Intamin coaster. Double helix here at the end. There's a vertical loop with all the supports. Oh, guess there's another loop over there. But it features the same trains. Nice, a corkscrew over the pathway. I also have a giant, not giant, big size Eiffel Tower here. The park does feel very, very nice. You can tell it's a more established park compared to Parque Warner that's 20 years old. I think this one's pushing 60-ish years. So it definitely has more grown in trees. It feels very much of like a city park that has rides in it, which I think was the original way it was built. And then over time it got gated and became a full-fledged amusement park. But it definitely feels like, you know, areas like this where there's no rides except this interesting looking monorail. I feel like that's almost by design to kind of give it a little bit more casual atmosphere. Still walk along this path and there's not a lot, but kind of like that. It gives it a little bit more calmer vibe. Back here. And you can see this monorail just keeps going. It's not going very fast because we're basically walking and it's barely beating us. Now this doesn't open until later in the day. It's one of those things, tricky things, kind of like we experienced at Parque Warner if you watch that video, where some of the things you want to do is are later in the day, but you also want to get there early to knock stuff out. This is an upcharge, correct, Brian?
Yep.
So let's see, let's look at the hours over here. There's the experience from 4 to 9:45, and then the show from 6:15 or at 6:15 and 8:30. Definitely learn your military time before you come here. You worked in a theme park like Disney, it's pounded into your brain, but it's pretty interesting. It's a trend that most of these parks, not all of them we've been to, have some kind of upcharge haunt. Makes sense given the popularity of the haunt events. We're at the top of the entrance plaza. We've got a giant Star Flyer. They also are advertising if you want to get married here, you can get married here. Look at that. Look at the cute couple on the swing ride. Park isn't very big. To just kind of size it up for you, we're coming back down the main entrance. This loop on the right hand side, where I'm pointing, the right hand side of the camera, so on the left hand side when you walk in, has a couple of the bigger coasters, but it really just, if you see where the coaster is right there, that's the loop. It walks back over, and on this side, loop isn't much bigger, so fairly small park. We've been here about an hour now. Granted, we do have the speedy pass, and we've been on almost all the coasters, which, given how hot it is, probably a good idea we're not here all day. To build on what I was just saying and better illustrate it, main entrance is here. This is the one loop. This is the other loop. The entrance for when you come off the train essentially runs along the top of the park. You come in up here for the train. So as I was saying earlier in the video, you come in for the train, you're going to want to head to the front of the park first, guest services, pick up your speedy pass. London Gala has opened. It's an automated Jungle Cruise style type ride. Doing a little voiceover here because there's no audio or no sound effects whatsoever on this ride. Let's start with the ride vehicles. You sit in these little log kind of things. It'd be like a Splash Mountain boat, but kind of like on a pontoon. It's pulled by a string rope that goes around, and it very much rips off all the little gags from the Jungle Cruise. The problem is there's no jokes being told, there's no sound effects, so a lot of the punchlines that the skippers on the Jungle Cruise provide, yeah, they're not there. The animatronics here don't work. So you don't have the hippos coming out of the water, you just have them kind of staring at you with their mouth open. You can see that shot there, the wheel that's helping pull this thing around. The elephants did move a little bit. I was waiting for one to squirt me like the Jungle Cruise, but no. You get a little bit more kind of, maybe back in the day, these animatronics used to work. This scene looks a little bit familiar, right? Like this is a clear 100% ripoff of the Jungle Cruise. Look in the water here, you can see the rope again kind of pulling the boat. This was probably a 5 or 6 minute experience, but again, without any audio or without any skippers telling jokes, kind of just dragged on. That was as weird as I would expect, and a blatant copy of the Jungle Cruise in several scenes. Now this ride is currently not open, but I just need to know what it is. Aladdin, the bachelor party. It's like he's getting a call from another chick. That's not going to sit well with Jasmine, buddy. Looks like we're going to experience the bachelor party simulator style. I've been to bachelor parties before, but never this way. All right, well, let me give you a full recap of the Aladdin bachelor party experience, because it's not what you think. Starts off, Genie and Aladdin clearly had a wild night in Agrabah. You know, you see those towers in Agrabah, those turrets, those are probably pretty sweet bottle service VIP rooms. Probably had a little too much bottle service VIP because they woke up hungover. That's how it starts. They're hungover, Genie whips them up into shape. What wakes them up is a call from some chick, probably someone he met at the VIP bottle service room. And then it goes from there, because when you think of Aladdin, what do you think of? You think of underwater adventure. That's exactly right. After they get woken up from and Genie works his magic on their hangover, they end up getting chased by a shark underwater before going through Asia and then adding back up in Agrabah, where Jasmine is, as you'd imagine, furious. And that sums it up. Things must get lit here later because there's a DJ booth at the entrance to the park. Merch-wise, as you'd expect, a lot of the IP, and they have Warner Brother IP here too, because of course, being that they own the other park. Here is the few shirts. Nice. Park does have some vehicles from old rides. The park does have quite the long history. And this is a Schwarzkopf car from a Wildcat style ride. I believe the same layout as the one at Cedar Point, that ran for over 30 years, I believe. Over here is the other ride that is on the one-shot, that kind of extra speedy pass, if you will, Vertigo. Your standard Wild Mouse. Definitely has a longer line, but not super long. But for €5 to skip that, when a lot of that's in the 100-degree heat, because it is 101 today here in Madrid with no clouds. They actually let that one run pretty wide open. Produced a crazy ride, especially kind of hard to see right here, but this drop here, nice pop of airtime right there. Classic looking carousel here. Pretty ornate. Coolest entrance for a mine train I've ever seen. Speedy Patch coming in clutch today. Operations at this park aren't the strongest. Most rides are only running one train, and they don't really have that many people working the rides, so things are a little bit slow. Definitely would invest. It's not too much money to get one and help skip the lines. This one has quite a long one. One of the IPs they have here is Nickelodeon. It's quite a big area with a lot going on. You have Dora the Explorer Jeep ride. Bob Esponja Hero Spin. I'm just gonna say it again because it's from Bob Esponja. Oh, there's Bob Esponja himself. This ride's kind of neat. It's like a circular splash battle themed to roller coasters.
Themed for the Mall of America SpongeBob roller coaster.
There's Bob Esponja on top of it. Jimmy Neutron magnet drop. That's a kind of cool theme. I like that.
Oh.
There is also home to one of the more unique coasters, themed to fairy godparents, fairy odd parents. Sorry about that. Not my kind of IP here, but you can see not quite sure what exactly it is. It's some kind of suspended contraption that just goes back and forth. It's kind of like a inverted Fiesta Express. They have a roller coaster, kids coaster themed to Paw Patrol. Some very weird artwork on this building back here. Pretty big building. If you know what this used to be, drop it in the comments because I'm very curious. Maybe it's for haunt now. Not sure, but that's pretty wacky. That's pretty wacky. There hasn't been a lot of food stands open. there hasn't been a lot of food stands open. So I would recommend maybe eating before you come. The park doesn't open at noon on most days. Or bring in some food. I mean, it seems like you can kind of see families doing here. There's tons and tons of picnic benches everywhere. Tons of shaded grassy areas that you could sit underneath an Intamin and Verticoaster. You can't do that every day and have some lunch. So that would be my recommendation. It seems like the park definitely plans for you to do that with very little food options open, at least this early in the day, where we are 3 hours into operations. Monorail experience was about 10 minutes and went through the top back half of the park. Park doesn't have a train ride outside of this interesting looking Nickelodeon Express elevated train. Wrapping up a quick visit to the park here. Overall, I enjoyed it. It has some unique rides. Jungle Cruise rides, certainly unique. However, it's missing that signature roller coaster, that signature dark ride. So not my favorite park. Glad I went and spent a couple hours here. You probably don't need to spend more than a couple hours here, especially if you get to skip the line pass. So after the park, we explored downtown Madrid a little bit. And we had to get churros. The city's known for churros, and there's churro shops all over town. So that's what we did. We went to the most famous churro shop in town. Walking down an alley to a churro shop, it's pretty famous. Has 44,000 reviews on Google. It's open 24 hours. So you get the churros. It comes with chocolate dipping sauce, dark chocolate. The churros here are not covered in sugar like they are in the States. And then Brian got an Irish coffee. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want.